أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We meet today on our Arabic proficiency lessons with Alqirā-atur-Rāshida Afwan. And in this lesson, inshallah, we are going to look at the lesson number 82 in the book, which is about Al-Imam Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali, the great scholar of the 5th century into the 6th century. Al-Imam Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali is a scholar that is befitting as a student of knowledge. You must know something at least about him. He's done a lot of work, particularly in Usul al-Fiqh. He's done amazing works. And so, inshallah, this text is going to take us through his life story. And then it happens that recently, in my reads, part of the books that I'm reading, a book written by him, Al-Mustasfa. In the Al-Mustasfa, it happens that the volume 1, which is a very small volume like this, about 74 pages, the author, the one who rewrote the book, and the book is written, but somebody takes the book, does tanqih, rewrites it, and makes sure it's printed, it comes out well. The introduction of that particular author, he brings most of the story that is mentioned here in there. So it excites me that the story is featured here in this book, such that we all get to learn a thing or two about Al-Imam Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali. Of course, our focus is the Arabic language, but then of course you must know something about the scholars in the field. Okay. He says Al-Imam Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali. Now, the name here happens to be his title, which is Al-Imam, and then also Abu Hamid is also brought. Abu Hamid, which is his son. So they say Abu Hamid, they use your son to name you. When you are named after your son, let's say your son is called Ridwan, then they call you Abu Ridwan. Okay, so in the name here, in the name that is in the heading, his actual name doesn't appear there. This Al-Imam is his title. Abu Hamid is kind of a kunya, the father of his son's name. And then Al-Ghazali is what he relates to, a work, a place, something like that. Okay, so we get to know his actual name from the first line here. He says, Wulida Abu Hamidin Muhammad Al-Ghazali B.3. The place is Tus. The B here bimana fi Tus. Okay, Imam Abu Hamid Muhammad Al-Ghazali. So you get to know that his name is Muhammad. His name is Muhammad, and he was born in Tus. Tus. Okay. And then he was born in the year Sanata 450 Hijriya. He was born in the year 450 Hijri. وكان والده يغزل الصوف. غزل الصوف is when you spin cotton. When they pick the cotton and they've taken out the sheath in there, when they spin it to turn it into ropes, that is what we call ghazal. So those who turn the cotton into ropes for the purposes of sewing and all that, they are called the Al-Ghazal. He says his father كان يغزل الصوف. He used to spin cotton. ويبيعه في دكانه بتوس, and sells it in his shop in Tus. وكان فقيرا, and he was poor. He was poor. Yani the father was poor. صالحا, and righteous. لا يأكل إلا من كسب يده. He does not eat except what he has earned himself. كسب يده بمعنى what his hand has earned for him. And then he says ويطوف على المتفقهة. المتفقهة بمعنى الفقهاء الذين يتفقهون, of those people who used to sit and be discussing fiqh matters, those people who were devoted to fiqh matters, they are called the al-mutafaqqiha. ويطوف على المتفقهة بمعنى the father, he used to visit and go about the people of fiqh. ويجالسهم, and sits with them. وينفق عليهم بما يمكنه, and he spends on them to his ability. So the father, though he was poor, but he loved the scholars of fiqh, and he loves to sit with them, and he spent whatever little that he had with him on them. وكان إذا سمع كلامهم بكى, and he when he heard their speeches, he cried. بكى. وتضرع, and he was humbled. When you say تضرع, it comes with the meaning of to be humbled. It comes with the meaning of to submit to. It also comes with the meaning of to pray to. So when I say تضرع إلى الله, بمعنى دعا إلى الله, he prayed to Allah. تضرع لله بمعنى he submitted himself to Allah. Okay, so وكان إذا سمع كلامهم بكى وتضرع. When he used to hear their words, he would cry and he would become humbled. وسأل الله, or he prayed to Allah. وسأل الله أن يرزقه ابنا فقيها واعظا, and he asked Allah to bless him with a son who will be a faqih, a scholar of fiqh, a jurist. واعظا, and somebody who would be giving admonition, who will be preaching. Okay, واعظ أي يعظ في الناس. فاستجاب الله دعوته, and Allah answered his prayers. We are talking about the father here, the father of Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali. ولما حضرته الوفاة, أي الوفاة is the fa'il of the حضرت here, and when death, الوفاة بمعنى الموت, and when death came to him, وصى به. ولما حضرته الوفاة وصى به, أي he bequeathed. Bihi here is the how here is for Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali. So when death came to the father willed him. وَبِأَخِيهِ, and his father. أي وصى به وبأخيه. So his father willed. وصى here بمعنى to will. If somebody is coming to die and he does his tawsiyah, or he does his we say wasa bikaza kaza kaza bimana he willed like this. So when death came to him, wasa bihi, ay bil Imam Abi Hamid al-Ghazali, wa bi akhihi, and his brother Ahmad, ila sadiqin lahu, he willed them to a friend of his, min ahli al-khair. This friend was min ahli al-khair, among the people of goodness. Of course, you wouldn't leave your dear children in the hands of somebody who is bad. So he willed him to a friend of his who was part of the people of goodness. فَلَمَّا مَاتَ, when their father died, أَقْبَلَ الرَّجُلُ, this Sadiq of his is the one being referred to as the Rajul here. أَقْبَلَ الرَّجُلُ عَلَى تَعْلِيمِهِمَا. There are two now, Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali and his brother Ahmad. When their father died, this man came and picked them and started to teach them. إلى أن فني ذلك الذي كان خلفه لهما أبوهما. He taught them until فني بمعنى to finish, to be exhausted, until that which their father left behind for them. خلف, to leave behind. That is why we call successors as khulafa, khalifa. Khalifa is somebody that is left behind to take care of things. So إلى أن فني ذلك الذي كان خلفه لهما أبوهما, until what their father had left behind for them got exhausted. بمعنى the little money that their father had left for them became exhausted. such that there was nothing again. And then he says that فَقَالَ لَهُمَا, and he said to the two of them, Imam and his brother, اعلما أني قد أنفقت عليكما ما كان لكما. No, the two of you should know that I had spent on you, أنفقت عليكما, I have spent upon you, ما كان لكما, that which was for you. وأنا رجل فقير, and I am a poor person. This friend is also a poor person. لا مال لي, I do not have money. فأرى أن تلجأ إلى مدرسة, and I see, it is my view, أرى أن تلجأ, لجأ بمعنى لجأ, the verb is لجأ, to resort to. So أرى أن تلجأ إلى مدرسة, I see that you should resort to a madrasa. Why is he saying that? Because the schools then, if you were in school, the Imara takes care of you. The Salatin, the kings, they used to take care of the students. They will feed them, get them a place to sleep and all that. So after he got tired of everything of what the father left for them, got exhausted at home, he decided that why don't they just go to school instead, the madrasa? Because فَإِنَّكُمَا مِنْ طَلَبَةِ الْعِلْمِ, because the two of you are among students of knowledge. I've said that talaba is also the plural, just like tullab. فَإِنَّكُمَا مِنْ طَلَبَةِ الْعِلْمِ فَيَحْصُلُ لَكُمَا قُوتٌ يُعِينُكُمَا عَلَى وَقْتِكُمَا. فَيَحْصُلُ لَكُمَا قُوتٌ, so that you get sustenance. Qut is sustenance. يحصل بمعنى تجدون, فيحصل لكما قوت, أي تجدون قوتا. يعينكما, that will assist both of you على وقتكما, upon your time as you are studying. ففعل ذلك, and so they did that as he said. وكان هو السبب في سعادتهما وعلو درجتهما, and that was the reason for their happiness, وعلو درجتهما, and the highness of their levels, their ranks, they becoming great. This was the starting point of it. He says قرأ الغزالي في صباح. صباح بمعنى his childhood. صبا is childhood. Imam Ghazali read in his childhood طرفا من الفقه, a part of fiqh. طرفا here بمعنى a part. When we say طرف بمعنى a part or a side of something. So he read in his childhood a part of fiqh ببلده, in his place, على أحمد بن محمد الرازقاني. He read a portion of fiqh in his place, that is, I think that was Iran, okay, Tus in Iran during the Seljuk Empire. I think we've spoken about the Seljuk Empire. He says that in his country, ala Ahmad ibn Muhammad al-Razkani. So he read a portion of fiqh from this scholar. Okay. ثم سافر إلى جرجان, and then he traveled to Jurjan. إلى الإمام أبي نصر الإسماعيلي. He went to Jurjan to this scholar, because whenever you read the seerah of these scholars, you realize that they keep traveling to scholar from one scholar to another. So when you hear of this scholar and he's good in this field, you go to him, you pick that from him, like that. So he went to Jurjan. From Tus, he went to Jurjan to go and study from this Sheikh Abi Nasr al-Ismaili. وَعَلَّقَ عَنْهُ التَّعْلِيقَ. عَلَّقَ بمعنى to write footnotes, to make notes. عَلَّقَ عَنْهُ التَّعْلِيقَ بمعنى he made notes from this Sheikh Abi Nasr al-Ismaili. Whilst he was studying with him, he took notes, he made footnotes. At-ta'liqa is footnote, or anything you write on the side of the pages to explain the text of a book. So when you buy a book, there is margins and there is a portion down there for footnotes. Anything you write there is called at-ta'liqa. So there is something in the book, but then when the scholar is teaching, he says certain things that are not in the book. You write those on the side. That will be like, let's say, this side, these places. Let's say you employ these places in your book to be writing stuff, that will be called التعليقة. ثم رجع إلى طوس. After he studied from Al-Ismaili and he took notes, he returned to Tus. قال الغزالي, Imam Ghazali had said, قطعت علينا الطريق. قطعت علينا الطريق. يعني when we say قطعت علينا الطريق بمعنى robbers or bandits attacked us on the road or stopped us on the road or robbed us on the road. That is why we call the bandits قطاع-الطرق. قطاع-الطرق بمعنى bandits, those people who will take up the road. As you are coming, they will hide behind a stone or a mountain. They will just appear and rob you. They are called قطاع-الطرق. So قطعت علينا الطريق, as he was coming, the robbers stopped him. وأخذ الأيارون جميع ما معي. الأيارون here is what I'm saying, the قطاع-الطرق. So the bandits, they took جميع ما معي. They took everything that was with him. So the ta'aliqa, everything that he got from where he was, they took it from him. Jamil. And then he says that وَمَضَوْا. So when they took all that was with him, his money, food and everything, they took it. وَمَضَوْا. مَضَوْا, and they left. فَتَبِعْتُهُمْ. This is he himself narrating. فَتَبِعْتُهُمْ. I followed them. فَالْتَفَتَ إِلَيَّ مُقَدَّمُهُمْ. So their leader, Muqaddam, their leader, or the one leading the mission, he turned to me. الْتَفَتَ إِلَيَّ. الْتَفَتَ إِلَيَّ, he turned to me. وَقَالَ, and he said, إِرْجَعْ وَيْحَكْ. Return. What is wrong with you? وَيْحَكْ is an expression that sounds like a curse word. It's like saying waylun lak, like woe betides you, or calamity befall you. It's like a curse word, but Arabs, they speak like that. You can do something very beautiful and the person will say qatalak Allah. Qatalak Allah literally sounds like may Allah kill you, but they don't always say it to mean cursing. You do something wonderful. In Hausa, here in Ghana, and I think in Nigeria, I don't know, but in Ghana, somebody will do something amazing. Playing football, the person scores something, a very beautiful goal, and you hear shege. This shege expression means bastard. It means bastard. But in that saying, it is not said to mean, in usul fiqh, note this down, in usul fiqh, you'll be taught a concept, they will tell you, al-mantuq wal-mafhum. Always there is a meaning from the mantuq, and then there is a meaning from the mafhum. The mantuq will be something, and the mafhum will be something. Okay? Normally what they use for an example, the hadith of the Prophet, إِذَا بَلَغَ الْمَاءُ كُلَّتَيْنِ فَلَا يُنَجَّسْ, something like that. There is a hadith like that. If a water reaches the quantity of 2 jars, it doesn't get impure. There is a hadith of the nature. So the mantuk is if a water reaches 2 jars, it doesn't get dirty it remains pure. But the mafhum is that if a water doesn't reach, it's like a logical reasoning, if a water doesn't reach that, then it can be made impure. So always there is a mantuk aspect of something, and then there is a mafhum. So when he says wayhak, here he is not cursing. The mantuk is curse, but the mafhum is warning. He is warning him. Irja wayhak. Says wa illa halakta, else you will be destroyed, you will be killed. فَقُلْتُ لَهُ, so qultu here is Imam Ghazali. So I said to him, أسألك بالذي ترجو السلامة منه أن ترد علي تعليقتي فقط. I ask you in the name of, or by the one from whom you seek peace or you seek security, that you should return to me my notes, تعليقتي فقط, alone. So all the things you've taken, fine, but give me my ta'liqa. Says, فَمَا هِيَ بِشَيْءٍ تَنْتَفِعُونَ بِهِ, because it is nothing that you will benefit from. Because you are bandits, you are robbers. You won't benefit from the notes. فقال لي, so the leader, he said to me, وما هي تعليقتك? What is your تعليقة? He doesn't even know what it is. فقلت, so Imam Ghazali says, I said, كتب في تلك المخلات. The تعليقة, they are books in that bag. Al-mikhlat, that bag. This mikhla is normally used for the bag that fodder is placed into, the animal feed is put into, that kind of leather or sack thing. But here Imam is talking about his bag that he has placed in his notes. So he told him that the ta'liqa is books in that bag. هاجرت لسماعها. I did hijrah, I traveled to go and listen to this knowledge. وكتابتها, هاجرت لسماعها وكتابتها, and to write it. ومعرفة علمها, and to know its knowledge. So the books in there, I had, let's say, I had books like Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. I have these books in there. So I traveled to go and listen to lectures on it, and also make notes, and also know its knowledge. So when he says وَمَعْرِفَةِ إِلْمِهَا, he says فَضَحِكَ وَقَالَ. Dahika here is talking about the leader of the bandits. He laughed. When Imam said وَمَعْرِفَةِ إِلْمِهَا, and to know its knowledge, the robber, the armed robber or the criminal, he laughed and said, كيف تدعي أنك عرفت علمها وقد أخذناها منك فتجردت من معرفتها. How do you claim تدعي, you claim, how do you claim أنك عرفت علمها, that you know its knowledge, وقد أخذناها منك, and we've taken it from you, فتجردت من معرفتها, and when we took the books from you, you became devoid of its knowledge. How do you say you know it, but when we take the books from you, you don't know it again? وَبَقِيتَ بِلَا عِلْمٍ, and you become without knowledge. This is a great caution for students of knowledge. Do well to be keeping your knowledge in your head and not in the books. Normally when I'm teaching in class and I ask a question that relates to previous topics, you find students open their nose to check. That is not knowledge. Knowledge should be in your head. Okay? So he says that the robber told him this. How do you claim you know it, but when we steal it from you, you become without knowledge? ثم أمر بعض أصحابه فسلم إلي المخلات. So he ordered his people, and then they gave back the mikhlat to Imam. قال الغزالي, Imam Ghazali says, هذا مستنطق أنطقه الله ليرشدني به أو ليرشدني به. This is an interrogator, mustantiqun, interrogator. You know, in the prison when you are arrested and they want you to talk, they bring a mustantiq. Okay, somebody who will lure you to speak, or somebody who will interrogate you so that you give out information. So this is somebody that Allah has made him to interrogate me. Antaqahullah, Allah has made him speak. Allah is the one who gives him the words to speak. Liyurshidani, to guide me, bihi, with it. So Allah gave him certain words to interrogate me with, to guide me. So he robbing my bag, he asking me what is ta'liqa, and all that is just done to give me some guidance. Fi amri, in my matter. Fi amri yani amri talab al-ilm. Falamma wafaytu Tusa. So when I reached Tus, when I got to Tus, wafaytu, wafa bimana adraktu. If somebody says wafaytu al-makana bimana adraktu al-makan, I reached the place. So it says falamma wafaytu Tusa. When I got to Tus, أقبلت على الاشتغال 3 سنين. I started being busy myself for 3 years. حتى حفظت جميع ما علقته, until I memorized all that I have noted. وصرت بحيث لو قطع علي الطريق لم أتجرد من علمي. And I became such that even if robbers should cross my path again and steal my things, I wouldn't be without my knowledge. So he transferred all his knowledge into his head, such that now you can steal it, he doesn't care. His knowledge is in his head. And then he says, وَقَدِمَ الْغَزَالِيُّ نِسَابُورَ. Imam al-Ghazali went to Nisabur, وَلَازَمَ إِمَامَ الْحَرَمَيْنِ, and he stayed with Imam al-Haramain. Imam al-Haramain is also from Nisabur, but then from readings you realize that as the book that I indicated, Al-Mustasfa lil-Ghazali, the volume 1, Mujallad Awwal, okay, when you open it you realize all the story is inside. Imam al-Haramain is from Nisabur, but then he's called Imam al-Haramain because he had gone to stay in Mecca giving lectures there and was a reputable scholar there. Medina, he has given lectures in Medina, stayed there, led the people, and so he had been an Imam in Mecca, had been an Imam in Medina, and so he's given the title Imam al-Haramain. You can read a lot on him. Wajadda wajtahada. So when he stayed with Lazam al-Imam al-Haramain, when he stayed with Imam al-Haramain, Jadda, he worked hard, he was serious. Jadda, he was serious. Wajtahada, and he worked hard. Hatta bara'a fil madhab, until he became a master, until he excelled. Bara'a, until he excelled. Fil madhab, in the science of madhab. Wal khilaf, and disputes. Wal jadal. Khilaf, wal jadal, almost the same thing, but khilaf is differences. Okay, difference of opposing sides or difference of opinions. Wal jadal, and also disputes, debates. Wal aslaini. Aslaini is a term that is used to refer to ilm al-kalam and then ilm usul al-fiqh. Al-aslaini, when you hear al-aslaini in the sciences, they refer to ilm al-kalam and then also usul al-fiqh. That is what they call the al-aslaini. Wal-mantiq, and mantiq, yani logic. Wa-qara al-hikmah, and he read wisdom also. Wal-falsafa, and philosophy. He read philosophy also. وَأَحْكَمَ كُلَّ ذَلِكَ, and he perfected all that. وَفَهِمَ كَلَامَ أَرْبَابِ هَذِهِ الْعُلُومِ, and he understood the words of the heads of these sciences. So when you take every field, al-madhab, khilaf, jadal, aslaini, mantiq, hikmah, falsafa, they have top scholars in the field. He understood their words easily. وَتَصَدَّى لِلرَّدِّ عَلَيْهِمْ, and then he put himself to writing responses to them. Okay, he set out to start writing response to them, like particularly al-falsafa. The era was the era of philosophy. People were using philosophy to debunk some religious beliefs. So when he learned it, he started using his knowledge to debunk whatever that any idea that they had. وَإِبْطَالِ دَعَاوِيهِمْ. Da'awi is the plural of da'awa, that is claim. Okay, and disproving their claims. Ibtali da'awihim, disproving their claims. Ibtal is the masdar, the verbal noun from abtala. And you say abtala da'awahu, bimana he has disproved his claims. Okay. وصنف في كل فن من هذه العلوم كتبا جليلة, and he authored. صنف, ألف, كتب, they are all the same meaning. He authored books in each of these arts, in each of these fields or arts. من هذه العلوم كتبا جليلة, great books. Just like I was telling you about Al-Mustasfa in Ulum Usul, is considered to be one of the great books in Usul al-Fiqh. It says, وَلَمَّا مَاتَ إِمَامُ الْحَرَمَيْنِ, when this Imam al-Haramain died, خَرَجَ الْغَزَالِيُّ إِلَى الْمَعَسْكَرِ. Ghazali went to Ma'askar. Ma'askar will normally be the military camp. Okay, literally, but it's a name given to a place. So he went to the Ma'askar. Okay, قَاصِدًا الْوَزِيرَ نِظَامَ الْمُلْكِ. He went there intending to go to the minister Nizam al-Mulk. He's called Nizam al-Mulk. إِذْ كَانَ مَجْلِسُهُ مَجْمَعَ أَهْلِ الْعِلْمِ, because the majlis of this, the council of this Nizam al-Mulk was that of Ahl al-Ilm. Scholars used to gather in his council, discuss scholarly materials. فَنَاظَرَ الْأَئِمَّةَ. So when he went there, he debated the heads there. والعلماء and the scholars في مجلسه in the majlis of نظام الملك. وقهر الخصوم, and he defeated, قهر بمعنى to defeat, he defeated his opponents. الخصوم, the plural of خصم, okay, the plural of خصم. So he defeated his opponents. وظهر كلامه عليهم, and his word superseded theirs. ظهر كلامه عليهم, his word topped theirs or overpowered theirs. واعترفوا بفضله, so they acknowledged his virtue. They acknowledged his virtue. وتلقاه الصاحب بالتعظيم. الصاحب هنا بمعنى نظام الملك. Okay, the minister there accepted him or welcomed him بالتعظيم, with respect, with high regards. He gave him high regards. والتبجيل, and also with reverence. Okay, with reverence. وَوَاللَّهُ تَدْرِيسَ مَدْرَسَتِهِ بِبَغْدَادِ, and he put him as the head of teaching in his school in Baghdad. So this Nizam al-Mulk had a school in Baghdad. So he put Imam Ghazali in charge of teaching in that madrasa. وَأَمَرَهُ بِالتَّوَجُّهِ إِلَيْهَا, and he asked him to go to Baghdad and teach there. فقدم بغداد في سنة 484, the year 484. Okay. ودرس بالنظامية, and he taught in the system. النظامية, whenever you hear النظامية, مدرسة النظام, المدرسة النظامية, we are talking about the public schools. Okay, those that were in the formal style. You know, they used to teach in Zawri, in Zawaya, in Zawiya. But when somebody goes to school, the public school, that is called the Madrasat al-Nizamiyya. وَعَجَبَ الْخَلْقَ حُسْنُ كَلَامِهِ, so the beauty of his words amazed the people. Al-Khalqa huna bima'na an-nas, people. Kamalu wa kamalu fadlihi, and the completeness of his fadl, his virtue. Because everything you look at him, he speaks perfectly, his character, his morals, everything was on point. Wa fasahatu lisanihi, and the eloquence of his tongue. Wa nukatuhu ad-daqiqa. Nukat or nukta is just some interesting short story like that. Sometimes it's used to refer to jokes, okay? But any interesting short story, whether it's a joke or something just beneficial, is nukta. So his plural is nukat. It's nukatuhu daqiqa, his accurate stories. Wa isharatuhu latifa, and his kind gestures. Isharat al-isharat al-latifa, yani his kind gestures. Wa ahabbuhu, and they loved him. And they loved him. It says wa aqama ala tadris al-ilmi wa nashrihi bit-ta'lim. So he put himself to tadris al-ilm, teaching knowledge, wa nashrihi, and spreading knowledge, bit-ta'lim, afwan, with teaching. So he took up to teaching. والفتيا بمعنى giving fatwa, and he was giving fatwa as well. So as he was teaching, he was giving his legal opinions, Islamically legal opinions on matters. Futya. So if you can vowelize it, faw dhamma, and then tauskun, then yai fatha, futya. والتصنيف, and also والتصنيف مدة, and also authorship. والتصنيف بمعنى authoring. He was also writing books. مدة, for a period of time. عظيم الجاه, he had great virtue among the people. Al-jah bimana, the value of your image, that is your virtue. Azim al-jah. Za'id al-hishma, he had this shyness upon himself. Za'id, excess. Ali Rutba. He had a very high ranking among the people. Masmu al-Kalima. His words was listened to. So whenever he said, people listened to him. Whenever he spoke, people listened to him. Mashhur al-Ismi. His name was popular. وَعَلَتْ حِشْمَتُهُ وَدَرَجَتُهُ. His shyness, this shyness is not like the way a woman will be shy. No, the way he is coming, the awe upon him. The awe upon him. That is what we are talking about here. His awe, his dignity, when it's coming, the dignity you see on him, and darajatuhu, his level, fi Baghdad, in Baghdad, alat, became high. Hatta kanat taglibu hishmat al-akabir, until that dignity of his passed that of akabir, great people. Wal umara, and the princes there, wa dar al-khilafa, and even the abode of the khilafa, where the castle is. Dar al-khilafa bimana al-qasr al-khilafi. ثم تبرمت نفسه مما كان فيه من الجاه. When we say tabarrama, we mean to be displeased with something. Okay? When something starts not feeling pleasant for you. So ثم تبرمت نفسه مما كان فيه. His soul started being displeased with what he was in, من الجاه, of the virtue. Okay? Of the superior power in the society. His soul started feeling some way about it. وَكَثْرَةِ الطَّلَبَةِ, and the many numbers of students he had. وَالْإِقْتِدَارِ, اقتدار بمعنى قدر, بمعنى being ability. وَالْإِقْتِدَارِ على العلوم وتدريسها, and having the ability upon every science and also to teach it. Imam al-Ghazali had the special quality of any science that he puts himself to, he excels in there, and he's also able to teach it perfectly. Okay. وَاعْتَرَاهُ شَكٌّ فِي الْعُلُومِ, doubt started taking over him. To take over. Doubt started taking over him or befalling him in the knowledge, in the sciences. وَظَهَرَ لَهُ أَنَّهُ لَا مَطْمَعَ فِي سَعَادَةِ الْآخِرَةِ إِلَّا بِالتَّقْوَى. And then it appeared to him that there is no desire, matma, there is no desire in the happiness of the hereafter except with taqwa. So one cannot desire in the happiness of the hereafter except if the person has taqwa. وَكَفْ النَّفْسِ عَنِ الْهَوَى, and stopping the soul from its low self-desires. So stopping your soul from just misbehaving. Okay, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Okay, وَالْإِقْبَالُ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, and also devoting himself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Iqbal bimana devoting himself to Allah. وَأَنَّ ذَلِكَ لَا يَتِمُّ إِلَّا بِالْإِعْرَاضِ عَنِ الْجَاهِ وَالْمَالِ. And he realized that wouldn't happen except if he stays away. Al-i'rad, the verbal noun from a'rada. إِلَّا بِالْإِعْرَاضِ عَنِ الْجَاهِ وَالْمَالِ, except by staying away from this high virtue he is enjoying and also money. وَفَكَّرَ فِي نَفْسِهِ, and he thought in himself. فَإِذَا هُوَ مُقْبِلٌ عَلَى عُلُومٍ غَيْرِ مُهِمَّةٍ. So when he kept thinking, he realized that all the knowledge that he has been seeking and putting himself up to, they are not important. He realized they are not important at his level where he was. Don't go saying that you learning Arabic is not important. No. At the level he had gotten to the spiritual state, he realized that the knowledge he was chasing then was not important. وَلَا نَافِعَةٍ, not important nor beneficial, فِي طَرِيقِ الْآخِرَةِ, in the path of the hereafter. وَتَفَكَّرَ فِي نِيَّتِهِ, and he thought about his intention. تَفَكَّرَ فِي نِيَّتِهِ, thought about his intention. فَإِذَا هِيَ غَيْرُ خَالِصَةٍ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Then he realized that his intention is not also sincere for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَتَيَقَّنَ أَنَّهُ عَلَى خَطَرٍ. So he knew for sure, تَيَقَّنَ, he got to know for sure that he is in danger. Khatar, he is in danger. ولم يزل يفكر في مفارقة بغداد وترك التدريس قريبا من 6 أشهر. So ولم يزل يفكر في مفارقة بغداد, and he kept thinking about leaving Baghdad, وترك التدريس, and leaving teaching, قريبا من 6 أشهر, close to 6 months. He kept thinking about 6 months. حتى غلب ذلك عليه, until that thought, those thoughts overpowered him. وَاعْتُكِلَ لِسَانُهُ, and his tongue became locked up. When we say اعتقل, to arrest or to lock, to be seized. وَاعْتُكِلَ لِسَانُهُ, until his tongue was seized. He kept thinking about his intention, about whether he was really doing things right, until now he couldn't even speak again. وَاعْتُكِلَ لِسَانُهُ عن التدريس, he couldn't teach again. وَأَوْرَثَ ذَلِكَ حُزْنًا فِي الْقَلْبِ, and that bequeathed some sadness in his heart, in the heart. بَطَلَ مَعَهُ قُوَّةُ الْحَدْمِ, that caused about the breakup of the strength of digestion. Sadness became something that built in his heart until he didn't have the strength to swallow food again. وَتَعَدَّى إِلَى ضَعْفِ الْقُوَى, either kuwa or qawa. Qawa is starvation, qawa, starvation or hunger, and that became weakness of hunger, weakness of starvation. That happens. Or ضعف القوى, weakness in strength, the strength that he has became weak. تعدى بمعنى that extended to. Okay. It says حتى يئس منه الأطباء, until doctors despaired on his matter. They became despaired. They realized nothing will work. وأشاروا عليه بالترويح, they pointed him to recreation, that he should be having recreational activities. وخف عليه الإعراض عن الجاه والمال, and so gradually the idea of staying away from virtue, power and money became easy upon him, because he was thinking about leaving Baghdad, leaving the place that he was from. It was not easy for him, but gradually خف عليه, it became light upon him. And then what did he do? ففارق بغداد, so he left Baghdad. وفرق ما كان معه من المال, فرق بمعنى to dispute, to disperse, to disperse. فرق, to give out. He gave out what was with him, the money that was with him. ولم يدخر إلا قدر الكفاف, and he didn't keep ادخر, to store. He didn't keep, لم يدخر, he didn't store, he didn't reserve, except the amount that is enough for survival. قدر الكفاف. وحج البيت الحرام, so he did hajj to Bayt al-Haram. ثم دخل الشام, and then he went to Sham also. وأقام به قريبا من سنتين, and he stayed in Sham for close to 2 years. لا شغل له إلا بالعزلة, he had no business but solitude. عزلة, solitude, being alone. والخلوة, and also uzla and khalwa, almost the same thing. Okay, khalwa, seclusion, uzla, seclusion or solitude. Wariyada, and also exercise. So he was always secluded, and then he would do some little exercise. Wal mujahada, and striving, fighting his nafs. Ishtighalan bi tazkiyat nafs, all this being busy to purify his nafs, tazkiyat nafs. As we have in والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والليل إذا يغشاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها قد أفلح من زكاها. So he was busy trying to attain تزكية النفس وتهذيب الأخلاق. You see, تهذيب, تزكية, تصفية, the same meaning, purifying. وتهذيب الأخلاق, purifying his character or morals. وتصفية القلب, and also purify his heart. لذكر الله تعالى, for the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثم توجه إلى بيت المقدس, Bayt al-Maqdis, afwan. And then he turned to Bayt al-Maqdis, yani Jerusalem. And then he went to Bayt al-Maqdis from Sham. فَجَاوَرَ بِهِ مُدَّةً. He stayed there. جَاوَرَ بِهِ بمعنى he stayed there for a while. ثُمَّ عَادَ إِلَى دِمَشْقٍ. And then he returned to Damascus. وَاعْتَكَفَ بِالْمَنَارَةِ الْغَرْبِيَّةِ. So he did i'tikaf. I'tikaf is also a form of seclusion. He did seclusion at the western minaret. The minaret there is called al-Manara al-Gharbiyya. The western minaret, he did i'tikaf there. Min al-Jami', the western minaret of the Jami', of the mosque, he did i'tikaf there. وصنف التصانيف المشهورة التي لم يسبق إليها. And he authored books that were popular, books that nobody had preceded him in writing. مثل إحياء علوم الدين, one of his popular works, if not the most popular. إحياء علوم الدين, reviving the sciences of the religion. وصادف دخوله يوما المدرسة الأمينية. His entering the masjid, or his entering the place, happened to coincide with Al-Madrasa Al-Aminiya, the day that Madrasa was ongoing. His entry there coincided with the Madrasa. فَوَجَدَ الْمُدَرِّسِ يَقُول. He found a teacher saying, قَالَ الْغَزَالِيُّ. Imam Ghazali had said. So when Imam Ghazali heard that he's being quoted, he's being referenced, وَهُوَ يُدَرِّسُ مِنْ كَلَامِهِ, whilst the teacher was teaching, he mentioned Ghazali as a reference. فَخَشِيَ الْغَزَالِيُّ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الْعُجْبَةِ. Ujba, that is seeing yourself to be high. That is the way the devil convinces you. You are high, you know this. Why should you work with this one? You are from this family. Okay, you have this esteem. Why should you eat with these people? That is ujub. So he feared that this particular character of ujub would enter into him and affect him. فَفَارَقَ دِمَشْقٍ. So he went away from Damascus also. وَأَخَذَ يَجُولُ فِي الْبِلَادِ. He kept roaming countries. فَدَخَلَ مِنْهَا إِلَى مِصْرٍ. So in this jawla of his, he entered Egypt. وَتَوَجَّهَ مِنْهَا إِلَى الْإِسْكَنْدَرِيَّةِ. So when he entered Egypt, he went to Alexandria. فَأَقَامَ بِهَا مُدَّةً. He stayed there for a while. وَاسْتَمَرَّ بِجَوْلِهِ فِي الْبُلْدَانِ. He continued with his jawla into countries. Says وَيَزُورُ الْمَشَاهِدِ. He used to visit sites, different places. وَيُرَوِّدُ نَفْسَهُ. And he got himself acquainted. يُرَوِّدُ نَفْسَهُ. He got himself acquainted. وَيُجَاهِدُهَا. And he was fighting his nafs, his low self-desire. وَاسْتَفَادَ مِنْ صُحْبَةِ الشَّيْخِ أَبِي عَلِيِّ الْفَرْمَدِي. He benefited from the companionship of this particular sheikh. This particular sheikh is one of the Naqshbandi Sufi masters. He is said to be one of the Naqshbandi Sufi order, one of their masters. So Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali benefited from him, and he was also in Iran. وَانْكَشَفَتْ عَلَيْهِ عُلُومٌ وَحِكَمٌ. So there, in that companionship, a lot of knowledges came to him, and wisdom also. وَعَلَتْ مَدَارِكَهُ. Madarik is the plural of madrak, and madrak is the senses, our hawas, our senses. So the sense of hearing, the sense of touch, the sense of his own became very high. Alat madarikahu. His senses of gaining knowledge became high. Wa'ada ila al-watan. So he returned to his homeland. Wa'athara al-uzla. Athara bimana ikhtara. He chose seclusion. Even when he returned back to his country, he chose seclusion. وألزم بالعود إلى نيسابور والتدريس بها في المدرسة النظامية. ألزم, so he was forced to return to Nisabur to teach there in the madrasa, in the public school, al-madrasa al-nizamiyya. He was forced to go and teach there. فأجاب إلى ذلك بعد تكرار المعاودات. So he accepted that. أجاب إلى ذلك بمعنى he gave in to that after repeated attempts. So they pressured him until he accepted. وَدَرَّسَ مُدَّةً يَسِيرًا, he taught for a short while. كُلُّ قَلْبِهِ مُعَلَّقٌ مِمَّا فُتِحَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الطَّرِيقِ, the whole of his heart was now attached to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up to him in his path of travels. وَدَرَّسَ مُدَّةً ثُمَّ رَجَعَ إِلَى مَدِينَةِ تُوس, and then he returned to his city, Tus. وَاتَّخَذَ إِلَى جَانِبِ دَارِهِ مَدْرَسَةً لِلْفُقَهَاءِ, so on the side of his house, he kept a place for the sitting of the fiqh scholars. وَزَاوِيَةً لِلصُّوفِيَّةِ, and he kept a corner for the Sufi people. وَوَزَّعَ أَوْقَاتَهُ عَلَى وَظَائِفٍ مِنْ خَتْمِ الْقُرْآنِ, so he cut his time, he separated his time, or he apportioned his time عَلَى وَظَائِفٍ, on duties, مِنْ خَتْمِ الْقُرْآنِ, first of which is completing the Quran. وَمُجَالَسَةِ أَرْبَابِ الْقُلُوبِ, and sitting with people who knew the talk of the heart. وَالتَّدْرِيسِ لِطَلَبَةِ الْعِلْمِ, and also teaching students of knowledge. وَإِدَامَةِ الصَّلَاةِ, persistent prayers. وَالصِّيَامِ, and fasting. وَسَائِرِ الْعِبَادَاتِ, and the rest of acts of worship. He says, بِحَيْثُ لَا تَخْلُو لَحْظَةٌ مِنْ لَحَظَاتِهِ وَلَحَظَاتِ مَنْ مَعَهُ عَنْ فَائِدَةٍ, such that no moment of his, لَحْظَةٌ مِنْ لَحَظَاتِهِ, no moment of his or moment of anybody with him is devoid of benefit. Every time of his and the time of those who were with him was filled with beneficial activities. إلى أن انتقل إلى رحمة الله تعالى في يوم الاثنين, until he died. انتقل إلى رحمة الله بمعنى مات في يوم الاثنين, he died on Monday 14th of Jumada al-Akhirah سنة 505, in the year 505 Hijriya. So he was born 450 and died 505. He lived about 55, he lived between 53 to 55 years. قال أخوه, his brother said, his brother Ahmad, both of them were given to the man to take care of. So this brother of his, Ahmad, said, لما كان يوم الاثنين, when it was that Tuesday, Monday that he died, وقت الصبح, at dawn, توضح, or وقت الصبح, in the morning, توضأ أخي أبو حامد, my brother Abu Hamid performed ablution. وصلى, and he prayed. وقال, and he said, علي بالكفن, علي بالكفن بمعنى أعطوني الكفن, give me a shroud. So they gave him the shroud. فأخذه, he took it. وقبله, and kissed it. ووضعه على عينيه, he placed it to his eyes. So his brother is basically narrating to us the end of his life. So he says that قال أخوه أحمد, taking it again. قال أخوه أحمد, his brother Ahmad, remember both of them were given to be taken care of. Says لما كان يوم الاثنين وقت الصبح, on that Tuesday that we were just told he died, in the morning of that Tuesday, توضأ, أي توضأ, he says توضأ أخي أبو حامد الغزالي, his brother Imam al-Ghazali performed ablution. وصلى, and he prayed. وقال, and he said, علي بالكفن, give me a shroud, give me the shroud. فأخذه وقبله, he took it and kissed it. ووضعه على عينه, أي وضعه حيث يمكنه رؤية هذا الكفن, he placed it in such a manner that he can see it. وقال, and he said, سمعا وطاعة للدخول على الملك. سمعا وطاعة is an expression of obedience, I hear and obey. للدخول على الملك, to come to the king. It was like he telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that yes, it's my time, I accept and I'm coming into your presence. ثم مد رجليه, then he stretched his legs. واستقبل القبلة, and then he faced the Qibla. وَمَاتَ قَبْلَ الْإِسْفَارِ, and then he died before daybreak. He died before daybreak. وَكَانَتْ خَاتِمَةُ أَمْرِهِ إِقْبَالَهُ عَلَى حَدِيثِ الرَّسُولِ. So the last portion of his life was spending time with the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had studied all the fields, but the last portion of his life was he kept with the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَمُجَالَسَةِ أَهْلِهِ, and sitting with the people of hadith, scholars of hadith. وَمُطَالَعَةِ الصَّحِيحَيْنِ, and reading through the Sahihain, بمعنى البخاري ومسلم. ومات, and he died. وكتاب الصحيح البخاري على صدره, whilst the book Sahih al-Bukhari was on his chest. كان الغزالي رحمه الله شديد الذكاء. Imam Ghazali was severely smart. Sadid al-Nazar, he had a very accurate view. When he looked into something and he said, this is it, he was very accurate. Sadid bimana, very correct. Ajib al-Fitra, he had an amazing instinct. Al-Fitra bimana instinct. He had an amazing instinct. Ali al-Himma, he had a very high himma, that is vigor. Okay. Mufritul idrak, he had excessive sense of knowledge. Qawi al-Hafiza, with strong memory. He had a very strong memory. Ba'id al-Ghawri, al-Ghawr is the depth of something. Okay. Ba'id al-Ghawri, his depth was very deep. He was very deep. Gawasan al-Ma'ani daqiqa, he was somebody who used to dive into little meanings. So he sees something small, he can break it down and dive into its very minute meanings. Munaziran qawiy al-hujja. Munaziran bimana, a scholar who was head. You can also take it as a scholar who could debate, who had strong points of debate. Or very equally good, a scholar who was head of. There's qawiy al-hujja, and he had strong proofs. When he was talking about something, he had strong proofs. Okay. In case I left any word in there, please call my attention to it. I had gotten it as I wanted to do. I had always wanted us to have this Imam Al-Ghazali story in full. I didn't want to record it in pieces as I do with other lessons. I wanted the lesson to come out in full, and so I was waiting till the time that I will be able to record in full without feeling any stress. That's why I waited till today. So inshallah, alhamdulillah, for being able to go through this lesson with you all. This is a very great lesson that we've all learned. Please do well to make sure the pointers in there, you pick it. The thing about dealing with your nerves and trying to beat your nerves down and trying to make sure your niyyah, your intention of doing something is very good. That is based on the hadith, innamal a'mal bin niyat. Okay, so you pick what benefits you in there. And also the vocabulary, the main focus here is our vocabularies and expressions. We are studying Arabic. I always remind you, it's not pure Islamic studies. We are studying Arabic, but it brings us here to these important topics, and we need to pick the most we can of our Arabic in there, and also pick of the Islamic history and stuff that we can get from here. Okay, I'll leave you with this till we meet again. To do well to hit the subscribe button if you've not done so, and please share. As you see, we benefiting. Let's not leave our friends and loved ones out. Share for others to also benefit. Don't forget to leave a like if the lessons has been beneficial to you, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget. If you've not subscribed, please do well to do so. Don't forget to ask anything at all that confuses you so that we clarify it together. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين يا رب موسى وحارون وإيسى ومحمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أكرمنا بقوة الحفظ والفهم والمعرفة والحكمة. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.